All right, John, I'm here. It's 2:18 in the a.m. I'm only awake because I've got one more meal to go before greatness occurs. And then I've got 3 meals tomorrow plus snacks and a bunch of hydration before I hit an Atlas Stone PR. So I've got food to get down and therapy work to do tonight before I go to sleep because I want to be prepared for tomorrow. I know as a weightlifter, you fully understand that. I competed in weightlifting and trained in weightlifting as well. And, one of the big things we always had, I guess I sort of brought it in, made it a bigger deal. We had Max Friday, where you just, you went in and the idea was to hit a max and have fun. If you missed it, you missed it. If you made it, you made it. But every time somebody would miss something on Friday, you pop the question, well, what did you do Friday morning to earn it? What did you do Thursday to ensure that did you do everything right all week to earn that PR or that big lift on Friday? A basketball player doesn't just show up to the game and sometimes they're magic. Sometimes they're just magic. They can hit everything. But they got a game at night. They have a shoot around during the day. You go in and warm up and practice. So I've got little things I've got to do tonight, and I know that you understand that. A lot of people won't, but I am tired. I've got an hour before the timer goes off for me to cook my last meal. I've got a small steak in the fridge. Going to cook that. A couple more jalapeno cheese balls and some rice and a bunch of salt and a ridiculous amount of fluids. I'm going through your email and I've gone through your videos, and I mentioned, I think, the Thursday and Friday videos were unavailable. But you've got some really good descriptions here with your email, and I've watched the videos that I do have, and I'm picking up on a few things. And I want to explain what I see. See, I'm not going to lie, a little beat up after this week, mostly biceps and shoulders. 100%. Yeah, I wanted to give you a chance to push this week so we could pull back in the future. And I really want you to be able to do a lot of your training going back and forth between, say, 77, 82%, and then you getting a chance to kind of go heavy on the events because your strength is way above, your strength and your potential in the sport is way above what this contest is going to require of you. I hope that makes sense. So it's different than weightlifting where, I see your potential and I map out a plan of how long it's going to take. And we might map that around, being an American, that we might wrap that around the American Open schedule. You might wrap that around nationals. You might wrap that around Pan Am games. If you're an international competitor, here you start planning your year based upon small nations, Commonwealth Games every couple of years, and the Olympics every 4 years, as well as Worlds every year. So, I would map out what year I think is going to be your year, and then we're going to push you at that pace as a coach. But you're in Strongman, and the pace, the test is determined by each and every contest that you choose to do. So this contest is way below your strength potential. Your potential is so far beyond what this contest is asking you to do. At least that's what I see in you. And I believe that if you don't, you got every bit of the talent and potential to be a pro in the United States. You have every bit of the talent and the potential to be a top 10 pro in the U.S. And I don't think it's out of your reach to be an international level competitor for the United States. And I've been working with you 5 weeks, and that's just clear. You're too athletic. You're too strong. I don't know a lot about you personally. I don't know a lot about your tough side. I don't know really how far you want to dig your feet in and say, I'm going to stick with this sport through the good, the bad, and the ugly, when times get hard, because there are a lot more bad times than there are great times in this sport, no matter what anybody says. But the potential for you is almost unlimited. If you were 6'7", I would say they're unlimited, but I'm guessing you're not 6'7". I can't really tell by the videos because I don't see you next to anybody. So you're a little beat up, biceps and shoulders. I've pushed you pretty hard. You went 90% on the Medley, the overhead press Medley. That looks absolutely fantastic. It really does. What you've got to get faster at is getting the dumbbell from the ground to lock out much faster. And I understand it's your first week, first time ever using the dumbbell, and you're beyond better than I've ever been on. I'm horrible at the dumbbell, but you've got to get to the point, because the people who are going to beat you are going to reach down, grab the dumbbell, shoulder, pop, and it's going to be that fast getting a rep. Doesn't matter if you can outmax them, they're going to be that fast at getting that rep. And as soon as it hits, and I know when yours hits, it bounced all over the place, and that's not your fault. But as soon as they get the down signal, they're guiding it down, and their head is already turned, and they've already taken a step towards the next implement. And you've got to get to that point to where you're already running towards the axle. Grab the axle if you were going to do a full clean, which you look really natural doing a full clean with an axle, a proper weightlifting full clean without the pop at the hip, but the bar moves in a correct bar path for a weightlifting clean, and you're catching it at a full clean position. If you're going to full clean, you need to make sure you'll need to warm up properly on contest day, because if it's ever a fixed bar, you're not going to full clean it. If the plates don't roll very well, they're either going to have to cover the sleeves of the bar with WD-40, or you're going to struggle full cleaning it. So we'll need to practice the continental clean at least a little bit, just in case. But if you're going to do that, make the full clean, and when you're standing up from the clean front squat position, as you're coming up, go into the pop at the top and into the press. Don't stand up, reset, deep breath, and then jerk or power jerk. As you come up from the front squat, bottom position, go straight into the press. It's light enough, you're going to be able to do that. As you get down to once again, as soon as you get the down signal and that axle goes down, your head is already turned to the log, and you've already taken a half step towards it. You've got to get to the log, grab and go. I've got some technical things to point out. When you're standing up with the log, stand up completely with elbows locked. You're standing up 3/4 of the way to get the log past your knees with your elbows ever so slightly bent. That's biceps. You don't want to do that. How about every time you watch someone snatch like me and you see my elbows bent at the hips? Doesn't it drive you crazy? Doesn't it drive you crazy when the bar is at that perfect position and you look over and you see that I've got my elbows bent? That's the way it drives me insane when I see you doing the log clean and you don't stand all the way up with it. You stood 3/4 of the way up with it, shoulders still bent over the bar, and you've got your biceps bent to get it over your knees. Stand all the way up, chest up, lats back and down, into the crease of the hip, and then set down into it. Get your belt or belly underneath it, and then stand up. And as soon as you stand up, this is your time, because you are going to get a bunch of reps here. And you've got the rhythm down to get a bunch of reps. What do you think you can get? 8, 12, something like that? I wouldn't be so. It's going to depend on how fast the judge gives the down signal. So you've got to get in that rhythm of, making the power jerk, and as it's coming back down, catch it and then throw it back up. Okay? I will come up with a solution that will help you be better to help you get better at doing that. But you've got to catch it with your body already going on the down position, so your body can go straight back up into the reversing the power jerk. I hope that makes sense, but I'm going to have some plyometric exercises for you to work on that's going to help give you the energy, hopefully, to get into that position. You did a ton of the Medley work. 100% my fault. Not fault, that's what I wanted to see you do. I wanted as many opportunities as I could to see you make a mistake. And the mistakes that you made were the repetitive mistakes, the same thing over and over and over. Strength is there, it's unlimited. Your technique and transition from one implement to the next implement is greatly lacking. Day 2, felt better going into squats this week than the last. The sumo box deads are interesting. They're always going to be interesting. I think that you are not quad dominant. You are dominant from hip flexor down, IT band over, abductor. You just need more hamstrings. Yeah. You are so powerful across the front of your body. You're not quad dominant. You are powerful, and you know how to use your legs. The sumo box deadlifts put you in a position that you are not used to, and people think that they're just a back exercise or it's a sumo deadlift exercise. It's not. It is a hamstring ripper. I mean, it feels like it's going to rip your hamstrings apart. It's a technical thing as well. So when that video is uploaded, I can't wait to see that. And then I'll comment again and get you some videos and photos. That will help. You said you erred on the side of being easier with the S, and that's 100% the correct thing to do. You have no business going heavy on a sumo box deadlift. None. I mean, last week I used 80 kilos. And that was fine. I did them slow motion, but that was fine. That was absolutely my best sumo box deadlift is a little over 230 or 250 kilos. There's no reason to push that. It's a technical thing, and it absolutely fries your hamstrings, hips, and glutes. So we use it to build, not to test. Okay. And on all of your accessories, err to the side of caution. Okay, we can do another set. We can do a couple more reps, but once a mistake is made, we can't really take it back. Okay, we always try to avoid that injury. Let me see. You think that was the easiest day of the week? That's great. I will look at the pattern on how we set that up, and I will try to keep at least one day of the week where you come back and say, this was the easiest day of the week. And it should be. We want you to have at least one day where you say, this was the easiest day of the week. Now notice, I took the guy that I'm working with. That's an amazing squatter. Phenomenal squatter. That's you, by the way. And I made his squat his easiest day of the week. Overhead press, I drove you into the ground. The event work and deadlifts, I drove you into the ground. Working on your weaknesses, and I want to find all of them. So we're at day 3. Again, that video did not load for me. This is your overhead press day. You said you needed a day of rest, but you were headed out of town the next day and wouldn't be able to train, so you went ahead and did so. Felt like you were getting better and better as the sets went on. That's how that program is designed, for you to get better and better as the sets go on. And it's a great way for you to determine how to warm up, how you need to warm up on contest day. If you know that, if I ask you to do every minute on the minute work and you start out and you suck, you get 70% on there and you're just like, oh man, this is heavy. And I feel like I'm 60 years old. My shoulders hurt, my elbows hurt, and I have no fire energy. And then you get like 4 or 5 sets deep into this and you're like, this is awesome. Heck yeah, I'm ready to eat nails. Then we've got to find a way to get you close to that in competition. I'm not saying you need to walk out there with a CrossFit timer and have someone, count your reps for you and make you sign a sheet between every rep on warm-ups. But we have to determine how many reps that we think that you need in order to be mentally prepared. Or maybe it's just getting your body warm, making sure that your body is sweaty on contest day, which is going to be hard for your location and your time of the year that you're competing. And make sure that you are fired up mentally, which I know you will be. Those are stuff, that's why I program the way that I do. I want you to understand that. Sometimes I don't always say that, but that's what I'm learning from watching you. And I want you to learn from watching you. If I'm asking you to do something, I want you to be able to look at it and say, that's what he was looking for. I want you to be able to go back and say, that's what Clint was looking for. Or, what the heck was Clint looking for? Because that determines how I program the next week. You did the log and the log push-ups. Shoulders were toast, but you pushed through the giant sets. I'm kind of interested to see what all you did on the giant sets here and how hard you went, because you may have gone a lot harder than what you were. You tend to work much harder than most people. That's not always a bad thing. It's not always a good thing. Definitely not always a good thing. Front squats were easy. I want them to be easy. You squatted the day before. You've done overhead press 3 days or you've done leg work. You've done overhead press twice by that point, which again is legs, shoulders and biceps, because we're using the axle, log, dumbbell. And then you squatted, which is going to put a good strain on the biceps. Deadlifts, you're still figuring out. I can tell. I know you're figuring out. That's why the percents are not real high, and I've got you doing quite a bit of volume. Here's the thing. I saw you doing the speed work, and you excel at speed work. You are very fast and very explosive. Your first set was terrible. Your technique was bad. Second set was a little better. Third set was absolutely amazing. Once you got the bar a little closer to you, you started with the bar a little bit farther away from you. You doing it like a pull, like a weightlifter, where you still have the explosion at the top. If you are able to explode at the top, that means your foot was not in the perfect position to do a deadlift. But that may still be the perfect position for you. Maybe the best position for you to do the deadlift. Okay, there is a difference. There's two ways to do everything. There's the best way, and there's the way that you do things best when it counts. So I'm always going to hound you for making the jumping pull at the top of a deadlift. But when it comes down to, hey, I've got to get this, then you do it your way. Okay, I'll accept it. I'll complain. I'm a complainer, but I'll accept it. But you did show signs of absolute greatness on some of those deadlifts. You were making corrections. If I had you go out and do like a 5-3-1 program where there was only one hard set for the day, you did one set, you did 5 reps, you did 3 reps, you did a sub-max single or a max single or a deload. How much are we going to learn from that? What can we pull away from that? What if the one set that you did was a bad set and you never got a chance to do a successful one? What if you were coaching me and you really felt that you could improve my snatch, and I went out and I only sent you one video of 1 rep that I did, and it felt close but not there. I missed 3 or 4. I missed at least 2 positions and my starting position on the snatch. But what if I did like 8 sets of 2? 5 sets of 2 is fairly standard at 80%. 5 sets of 2. A lot of Russians do 5s and 6s. So let's say I did like 4 sets of 6 on snatch, with 70%, 72%, 75%. 4 sets of 6. 6 times 4 is 24. You would have 24 reps to look at, and I would have 24 reps to make corrections on. Now, what separates us is, the digital. We're 10,000 miles apart. And I'm watching it on a video. Imagine if you were there while I did 24 reps and you got to make corrections between every single rep. That's what I get to do with my wife, who's a weightlifter. And that's the benefit we have of training together, is I know what her mistakes are, and I know how to talk to her in a way that can get her to do things right. And I can correct between the reps and sets that she does. And that's what I'm trying to do here, is I would not normally ask anyone to do that many sets and that many reps, but we're looking for chances not only for me to see something negative and positive and make corrections, but for you to see and feel something positive and negative and make corrections. And that's exactly what I saw. I hope that makes sense. There's always a reason why I'm asking people to do stuff. But your deadlifts were solid, man. You did a lot of work on that day. Like a lot of other clients, I'm allowing them to pick and choose their accessories. And I'll send you a video clip of me explaining why and how. But I think what I did not include in the video, and what is very pertinent to you specifically, is I just asked you to deadlift pretty hard. A normal deadlift and some really hard speed deadlifts. And then you chose pretty difficult accessories. Heavy on the joints, heavy on the biceps, heavy on the spine, heavy on the mind. You could have taken a mini band and hooked it around your super yoke and done some one-arm banded rows, some one-legged hamstring curls, hooked a PVC pipe through 2 mini bands and done some band pullovers for lats, and that would have been 3 really good exercises for you at that point. But I mean, you did a Zercher yoke carry and a sandbag carry and load, timed deadlifts. This is from the top of my head. I have no idea how you can recover from that physically or mentally. So I'm going to send you a video to go along with that explains my thought process a little bit better. Day 5. Remember, you're training 5 days in a week. And I know as a weightlifter, that's normal. I've got several weightlifters right now, and all weightlifters want to train 6 days a week, taking 1 day a week off, and a lot of them will train twice a day. And it's difficult for us to do that with Strongman. Maybe that's my issue. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I should learn how to program weightlifters different for the sport of Strongman. As a coach, you accept responsibility. It's my problem, not yours. I'll put it on my back and I'll figure out a way, find a way to make it work. And I'm going to find a way to make a 5-day training program for you work. It's not your issue. It's the coach's issue. Coaches always accept their responsibility. They stand out and lead. You did sandbag loads. And I'm thinking this is where I should have been a little more clear when I had you loading sandbag to a high bar and a low bar or a medium bar. You loaded to 68.5 inches. I don't know how heavy that bag was, but that bag was giant and full. It was not light. And you fought with that thing a long time. I just went and measured. I measured today, so I'm going to load stones tomorrow. I've had a pinched nerve in my back. I've had a fracture and 2 herniations in my back all at the same time. So for the last, 13 months ago, I attempted to load a 310 Atlas stone or a 300. I mean, it comes off the ground like empty marble, and then my spine won't go from rounded to extended. And I've done a lot of work in the last year, and I've been through a lot of pain, and I even have some toes that I can't feel. But I went from not being able to load a stone to loading to a 36-inch platform at my gym. And I just measured outside, and the one I have outside is 46. That's what I've been loading to. And if I want, when I go to like a medium platform, I add a forklift tire on top of that. That's 5 inches, which puts me at 51. And if I go to something higher than that, I put 2 forklift tires, which puts me at 56. And my platform at the gym is a standard 56. And if I want to go something really high, then I move to the end of the platform where it's 58. If I want to go higher than that, I put a car tire on top of the platform and go higher than that. But at no point do I go 68.5. 1 year at Boston, the first Atlas stone was a 265 to 69 inches. And you had to get the first 3 stones to get any points at all. So if you only got the first one, you got 0 points. You might as well not even went out. If you got the second one or missed the third one, it was the same thing as the guy who missed all 3. I don't know why that rule was. There was a buddy of mine named Brad Pitt. He was 5'6", had a red, white, and blue goatee and a shaved head. He was an arborist, worked on trees. And he was amazing at every event. He was amazing at a lot of events. He was a 175 guy. And anything that involved carrying, shouldering, stones, he was amazing at. So he's 5'6", and the platform is 69 inches. So that's if I'm 74, it's 6'2", and 72 is 6 foot. 3 inches less, 11, 10, 9. He's 5'6" and loading to a 5'9" platform. So he got a pair of his work boots and added like a 4-inch block on the bottom that Velcroed on to make him 4 inches taller because there were no rules against it. There's a Brad Pitt rule now. And he shouldered that stone and pressed it. Did all 3, and he was the only person under 175 pounds to even get a single stone. And he got 1, 2, 3. to win the Atlas Stones at Boston, which was the heaviest show of the year, every single year. I loaded that stone too, and I had to come up, and I smacked myself in the chin, which was really common at the time for me on my way to getting it loaded, but I had to spring out of my lap. You're going to have to do the same thing if you want to load to a tall platform like that. The issue is you getting it secure in your lap, and a sandbag is hard to do because a sandbag moves like jello in your arms. But you'll have to get it secure, squeezed, tight, and then everything comes from your lap and how fast you can get it up and then basically into an incline or overhead push press position over the bar. That said, there's really no reason for you to load to a 68.5-inch bar unless you just wanted to load to a 68.5-inch bar. But I think you're beating up your biceps, your shoulders, your back, and your brain by doing so. So you do the smart thing and lowered it to 63. Still, it's way too high. 56 is high. That's fine. That puts you 2 inches above a standard 54. If you want to go 57, 58, just in case they use 56s at a contest, that's fine as well. When I was in the States, I used a 61 for everything because that's what I had. That's what I built, and that's what I had. You did well, just you don't need that high of a platform. And your first 3 reps with that sandbag, I counted 1, 2, 3, because I thought you just went up and just didn't extend and throw it over the bar. And then you finally went over the bar and you counted it as 1 rep. You're perfectly fine doing squats like that. If you don't want to throw it over the bar and run around the yoke, that's fine. It's a sandbag. You got to push it over. It's got to fall over anyway. It's not like a stone. It was pretty amazing to watch. That was an amazing video. Farmers holds, they get better and better and better. You just have to zone out and just breathe easy. Remember that. Remember that in warm-ups. Also remember that the first 2 things to go when your body is tired and overtrained is your ability to jump and leap and your grip. So if that event is farther down in the day, farther down in the training cycle, and you continue to get tired and worn down, we're going to have issues with grip because you're going to get tired. So do we limit grip, or do we continue to use it as a tester to see how your CNS is being burned? Leaping ability is important because it's the same thing as the leg drive you're getting on overhead press. It's the same principle as what you're doing with a deadlift. Okay, so that's why people say I can only deadlift heavy so many times in a month, in an 8-week block, in a 12-week block, in a year for me, because the body gets burned out so quickly and so easily that you can't perform at a high level at it. So let me make adjustments to make sure you don't get burned out. You mentioned you're really excited for this week. I brought a lot of new things that you haven't done before, and that's what you like most about my programming. So many things that you would not have done or programmed for yourself. It's causing you to really learn how to manipulate the implements and your body to get things done. You're looking forward to recovery day tomorrow, stretching and maybe some walks. I do want you to understand that you are the only person that I program this way, because what I saw in you from everything that you filled out at the beginning and what I've seen in every week so far, this is how I've designed things. This is not how, I don't have any other client that even, I've got a couple that train remotely similar to this. I could see comparisons, but the average person wouldn't see the comparison in it. But this is not the way that I program things. You are a unique athlete, and this one is for you. And every athlete that I work with, I'm sitting here looking at my page right now. I've got Jacob. Jacob lives in Missouri, owns a farm, competes in arm wrestling, powerlifting, and strongman. He's just now down to 318 pounds from 330. Owns a farm, like spends all of his day in a tractor, trains at 5:30 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning. Think I can program him like you? Alexandros is the closest to you. He's in Canada and he's a weightlifter, competing in strongman. Obviously not competing at the same contest you are. So do I program him like you? No. Pete's like in his mid 50s. and just qualified for Masters World's Strongest Man. Beat me. One of my own clients beat me. Works crazy hours with special needs children, wife, family, and everything. You think I program a guy in his mid-50s the same way I program you? Absolutely not. He was training back when I began as well. He's old like me. Jordan, Canadian, he's like a 175, 180 guy that'll be going for a world record soon in powerlifting. Vegetarian, awesome freaking guy. How often do you get to say vegetarian and awesome freaking guy? That's him. That's legitimately him. You think I can program him like you? No. Daniel in Germany. This is all stuff I need to do tonight and first thing tomorrow. In Germany, probably 100 kilo body weight, something like that. Trains in his basement. He's got nothing but a pair of squat stands. I can't program him like you. You know, so that there's and that's just what I'm seeing on the screen in front of me. And so this is how I program you based on what I see, what I saw on you from your notes at the beginning, and then what I've seen every week after. And that's why every week is different, because I see something different and I come back with a different game plan for the next week. This is not how I would program the standard strongman. If it was, that's what you would see me doing in the gym, but it's not. So this is made for you, just like every other client gets a made for them programming every single week, not every 12 weeks, but every single week. And I want you to know that I give you that much attention, and sometimes that's why I run a few hours late here and there getting in your program, and that's why it's 2:49 in the morning. And I'm going to upload this and then get you your programming. So I hope this explains a lot. I wanted to talk for like 7 or 8 minutes. It's 32 minutes now. But if you have questions, and when I see the rest of your videos, I will have more information for you. And I'm going to send you a video again about how I'm programming your deadlift and how to see your accessories versus your core lifts and which accessories to choose. And then I have your programming to you in just a minute. And then I'm going to eat. My alarm goes off in about 20 or 30 minutes. And I'm going to set a PR tomorrow. And we'll talk to you then.